Ethan Carter wasn't like the rest of the residents in Willow Creek Estates. While everyone else lived in massive, cookie-cutter mansions with freshly cut lawns, Ethan lived in a small log cabin at the far edge of the neighborhood. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't modern, it was old. His grandfather had built it by hand back in the 1940s. Ethan had just returned from military service overseas when he inherited the property. For him, the cabin wasn't just a house, it was home, full of family history. But to the HOA, it was an eyesore. From the moment he moved in, the HOA board made him a target. At first, it was small things. They left letters demanding he repaint his cabin to match the neighborhood color palette. They fined him for having a gravel driveway instead of concrete. They even tried to force him to cut down the oak tree in his yard because it blocked the view of the new homes behind him. Ethan ignored them, but the HOA didn't like being ignored. One morning, Ethan woke to find bright orange violation notices stapled to his front door, mailbox, and even nailed to the oak tree. The HOA president, Karen Whitmore, claimed his cabin didn't meet community standards and threatened daily fines until he complied. But Ethan knew something the HOA didn't. Hidden deep in his grandfather's old trunk was a legal deed from 1941. A deed that gave Ethan's family exclusive rights to the underground spring that ran beneath the entire neighborhood. That spring fed the lakes, ponds, fountains, and even the water pipes of Willow Creek Estates. Without it, the neighborhood would run dry. Ethan kept quiet. He knew his grandfather had once told him, "Greater than, son, the one who controls the water, controls the land." Things reached a boiling point when the HOA illegally blocked Ethan's driveway with concrete barriers, claiming his gravel road was a safety hazard. That was the last straw. Ethan called the county clerk's office, pulled out the deed to the spring, and filed a water diversion request. Within 72 hours, county engineers redirected the underground water flow back onto Ethan's property. The result? The fountains at the HOA clubhouse stopped working. Sprinklers sputtered dry across the perfectly manicured lawns. Pools cracked, their water levels sinking lower each day. Even the golf course the HOA had just built began to turn yellow. Within a week, Willow Creek Estates looked less like paradise and more like a desert. At the next HOA meeting, chaos erupted. Homeowners shouted at the board, "Why is my $2,000 landscaping dead? My pool is ruined. We can't live without water." Karen, the HOA president, marched straight to Ethan's cabin with two board members in tow. "You can't do this," she yelled, pointing a manicured finger at him. "You're destroying the entire neighborhood." Ethan calmly walked to his porch, holding the old water rights deed in his hand. "Actually," he said, "this land has belonged to my family for nearly a century. You built your fancy houses on my water. And now, you'll pay for it." Word spread quickly. Homeowners, desperate to save their properties, came knocking. Some begged for forgiveness. Others tried to offer bribes. Ethan didn't take their money. Instead, he offered him a deal. The HOA must dissolve permanently. Each homeowner would regain full independence over their property. No more fines, no more rules. In exchange, Ethan would sell water access to each family at a fair, reasonable price. The residents voted unanimously. The HOA was officially disbanded. Months later, Willow Creek Estates looked different. Without the HOA's tyranny, people painted their homes whatever colors they wanted. Some built gardens, others set up chicken coops, and Ethan kept his cabin just the way it was, untouched, peaceful, free. And every morning, as Ethan sat on his porch drinking coffee, he looked out at the oak tree his grandfather planted and smiled.